Another big-time college football job has opened up as Hugh Freeze was fired over the weekend at Auburn. So we're going to take a look at 10 potential replacements to be the next Auburn football head coach. I'm Harrison Graham. He's Joey Peterson. This is College Football Now by Chat Sports. Before we dive into this, Joey, I don't know if we're going to do as much college football coverage as we are this year. Auburn's open, LSU's open, Florida's open, Arkansas, Penn State, potentially a few more high-profile jobs. We're going to have the latest rumors, the latest coaching hot boards, recruiting, transfer portal, college football playoff rankings every Tuesday night. Subscribe to the channel and keep us locked in. And Joey, it just never quite clicked for Hugh Freeze down in Auburn.
It didn't, and it's funny. When they originally made this hire, I thought it was going to be a good one. Obviously, I think more people were worried about what was going to happen off the field when it came to Hugh Freeze as opposed to what was going to happen on the field. And I told you just a little bit ago, I think it just boils down to he couldn't get the quarterback position right. They were recruiting at an elite level. They were out recruiting Alabama in their own state. He just took a bet on Jackson Arnold, and as we've seen from Oklahoma and now from Auburn, that's a bet you don't win.
Look, I understand why they moved on from Hugh Freeze. I think he lost his fastball. I do wonder, though, with how crowded this search is, like, will they look back and be like, we maybe should have just waited an extra year just to see what happens? But they've made their decision, and now they are looking for their next guy. We'll go from 10 to 1 here. Jimbo Fisher, the former Texas A&M coach, the former Florida State coach, sipping macchiatos these days. Who knows what he's up to? But has guided SEC and ACC programs before, Joey. You wonder if he gets another crack at a high-profile job.
I might be crazy, okay? But if you hire Jimbo Fisher and put it in his contract, you cannot call plays, I don't think that would be that bad of a hire.
Yeah.
He's an elite recruiter. He proved that at A&M. He proved that at Florida State.
He's a player's coach.
He's a player's coach. If you can just make sure he hires a young, good offensive coordinator that handles the play-calling duties, I don't think that would be that bad of a hire.
Honestly, bring Bobby Petrino with you again.
Yes,
I'm serious.
But let him call the plays this time.
Yes, Bobby has to call the plays.
Yeah.
Yes. How about Jon Gruden? I know Josh Pate was saying a few months ago that he thinks Gruden could get a job in the SEC. I think Arkansas-Auburn feels about right. Like, I don't think he's getting the LSU job. I don't think he's getting the Florida job. But if you're Auburn and it's not like the strongest pool of candidates this year and you're not going to beat out LSU and a couple of these, do you take a chance on Jon Gruden? I'm not convinced he could be a great coach in college, but who knows? We know he's energetic as hell, and that's what it takes at the college level.
Yeah, and we know that guys like to play for him. They like to play for him at the NFL level. He said himself he would love to coach in the SEC. And I feel like if you're Auburn, you feel like you're in the middle of the pack of the SEC right now. Why not take a shot? You can't go much lower. And see if Jon Gruden will work out on the plains.
It's not like Hugh Freeze came in with a clean track record.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, so yeah, it'd be interesting. And I think Gruden's pretty hungry for another shot to coach in the NFL or college because he doesn't want to go out the way he did.
Yeah, I think he'd be an elite recruiter. I do.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It would all come down to the staff.
Yep.
Like, you got to have guys who have coached at this level. So that would be the key. Jeff Brohm, you do wonder, is he a fit in the SEC specifically? I don't know, but I mean, what he did at Purdue, what he's doing at Louisville, like, it's really impressive, Joey. He's great with quarterbacks. That is something Hugh Freeze could not figure out at Auburn. So I know Freeze kind of had a reputation for being good with quarterbacks as well, but what Jeff Brohm did with Tyler Shuck last year, what he's doing with Miller Moss this year, like, he's got a track record now of getting the most out of, average talents, and you do wonder if one of these top 15, 20 programs hands him the keys at some point.
Exactly. If you're able to do at a school like Louisville what Jeff Brohm has been able to do over these past couple of years, it's going to draw some eyes. And I think that's for good reason. I'm really, really impressed with what he does every single season. I think he's one of the best head coaches in Power 4 right now. And I think it'd be silly to not give him a shot, especially when you are a school like Auburn and you go from Brian Harsin and then you go to Hugh Freeze. All you want right now is some stability. And I think Jeff Brohm is that perfect thing.
Yeah, no question about it. Alex Golesh at South Florida, he's going to get one of these jobs eventually. I don't know if this is the one. Does Florida take a look at him? Not a far change up for him that would be, so we'll see. but he's done a great job at a program that was in shambles. Did he take over for Charlie Strong, or was there someone in between? I can't remember, but
I don't remember. He left Tennessee in 2022 after that season.
either way, it was South Florida was in the dumpster.
Yes.
And he's done a great job.
Yeah, not only is he winning, but he's also recruiting really well.
Yeah.
I think he's obviously a great offensive mind. He's a player's coach. He's a leader. He's one of those guys that you would run through a brick wall for. I think whoever does give him a shot at a Power 4 job, they're not going to regret it.
He's done a great job with Byron Brown as well.
Yep.
Brent Key, he's done a great job at Georgia Tech. I know they lost last week, but Georgia Tech, I know they're in a recruiting hotbed. They have some disadvantages. They don't invest a ton. It's a pretty big academic school,
Yep.
Joey. So, like, they don't view their football program like a lot of other schools in that region do. And so for him to have them in the mix to win that conference this year and potentially be a playoff team, they should have beat Georgia last year in that crazy 7-8 overtime game, whatever it was. He's a young, energetic guy as well. I mean, I would not be shocked if he gets one of these SEC jobs.
Yeah, what he's been able to do with Haynes King, I mean, you look at what's happened for him in his career. He comes from Texas A&M, goes to Georgia Tech, and he's playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the entire country. I think that Brent Key, if he gets an opportunity, I think he'd do really well. And I think he's similar to Jeff Brohm. When you're Auburn right now and you just need stability, Brent Key would be a good guy to hand those keys to.
And Brent Key has done with Haynes King what Hugh Freeze failed to do with Jackson Arnold.
Yep.
And take a athletic talent, play into his strengths, make it work. Did not work with Arnold. Not saying that's all on Hugh Freeze, but Haynes King, like you said, has become one of the more dynamic college football players. All right, what is the best head coach opening right now? I do think this is the top four. Auburn, LSU, Florida, or Penn State. Give us your thoughts in the comments. Joey, how would you rank these 1 to 4? And then I'll give my order as well.
I would probably go, even though LSU's got a lot happening with their athletic director or lack thereof and the governor, I would still put that at 1.
Agreed.
I'd probably put Florida at 2, then Penn State, then Auburn.
Yeah, I think LSU's 1. I think Florida, Penn State, I think you could debate for a while. And then I think Auburn is 4 out of these 4. But I think you can win at all these places.
And you have won at all these places.
Yeah, exactly. They've all been in the mix for a while. Okay, we are sponsored by Prize Picks. We'll get to our top 5 candidates here in a moment. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is very simple. Takes less than 90 seconds to create an account. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Takes less than 60 seconds to submit your first lineup. What does a lineup look like, Harrison? Well, it looks like this. You pick 2 or more players, up to 6, on 2 or more different teams. Can't just pick players all from the same team, but you can cross over sport if you want. And you pick more or less on different stats available. We're talking passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, even more or less on first carry type of stats, like J.K. Dobbins right there. Tons of different things available with Prize Picks. Prize Picks also has a cool feature where you can follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app, at HGramNFL if you want to follow me. Copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, Joey. Clark Lee, the head coach at Vanderbilt, has obviously done a terrific job. I'm not sure people realize how difficult that job is.
Yeah.
I do wonder, and I don't think everything they're doing is Pavia magic, but like, if Pavia is not the quarterback, like, I am curious to see if he could keep this up once Pavia leaves. Now, they look better on defense. He has recruited well, but is this a lightning in the bottle situation, or is this a sustainable thing he's got going right now?
And if it is, this seems like it's time to strike while the iron's hot, because you look at the disadvantages of coaching at a school like Vanderbilt. Obviously, you're bottom tier of the best conference in college football in the SEC. You also, when you think of transfer portal, recruiting kids, there are academic standards they've got to live up to that are unrealistic if you want to get the top talent in the sport. So Clark Lee, I feel like you said, maybe it's a question of they've caught lightning in a bottle with Diego Pavia, but you got to look at what he's done with Vanderbilt regardless of that and be impressed by it.
That's pretty impressive. Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. Is Auburn enough of a step forward to leave Missouri, Joey? I think that's an interesting question. I think the other three are. Like, if Penn State came calling, if Florida came calling, if LSU certainly came calling. I think Auburn's a better job. Is it so much better, though, than to leave Mizzou? Because, like, again, Auburn, they'll just pivot off you quick.
Yep.
So I do wonder if he would leave Missouri for Auburn.
Yeah, it feels like he's built something there. It feels like he loves his staff. He loves the community loves him. The interesting thing with Eli Drinkwitz is if you look at his SEC schedules over the past couple of years, Missouri's gotten really lucky. Yep. And so is he an amazing coach? He could be. Or has he just benefited from playing in a great conference with a weaker schedule? I guess we'll find out if he takes a new job at some point.
Yeah, I do think he's good. How good is he? I think is up for debate. James Franklin at number 3. I'm very curious to see where he lands. I kind of like the fit at Florida. It's kind of a more buttoned-up university. He's a buttoned-up guy. Like, I don't know if he fits in one of these small Auburn, Alabama college towns. Like, I just don't know. I like the Florida fit better, but we'll see. I'll be interested to see if Auburn takes a look at James Franklin.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where James Franklin ends up. There's a lot of rumors about Virginia Tech. I'm one that have said a lot recently. I think Arkansas should, really give a look into James Franklin. I think that'd be a home run hire for the Hogs, but obviously we're talking Auburn right here. I think he'd be a pretty good fit. But the thing about Auburn is a lot of their fans, like a lot in the SEC, they might have some unrealistic expectations, and they probably don't think James Franklin's good enough for them.
I can't remember who tweeted this, but I saw this the other day. It said they were like coaching carousel predictions. They were like, yeah, Penn State could use someone like James Franklin. It's pretty funny. It'll be interesting to see if over time if that was the right decision or not. Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. Producer Jack is dying in his seat right now. The Sun Devil alum, but Dillingham's also an alum of Arizona State. So I think you're going to have to offer him a lot. A big contract, a significant NIL package, a lot of money to bring a staff, Joey. Like, I don't think he's leaving Arizona State willy-nilly. That being said, Arizona State's not going to be able, like, eventually they're just not going to be able to offer what certain schools do. So is Auburn that job? I actually don't think it is. Like, I think he'll hold out for something better.
I agree with you. I think he's kind of in the Eli Drinkwitz kind of category here. Is Auburn a big enough step up? Now, it's a bigger step up to go from Arizona State to Auburn than Missouri to Auburn.
Big 12
but I do believe that Kenny Dillingham believes in himself. He's happy at Arizona State. Obviously, he's an alum there, loves being there.
He's 35,
he's
too, so he's got a lot
young.
of time
I
to
think he's just
be patient here.
I think he's going to play this one patiently, wait until a bigger job comes open sometime in the future, and see if he can strike with that one.
And then Jon Sumrall, there's been a lot of buzz already with him and Auburn. There's been chatter, would LSU hire the Tulane coach? It's probably a tough sell. But if you're Auburn, that's pretty good hire if you get this guy. I mean, what he's done at Tulane is really impressive. He's already recruiting in that area. He should be able to bring in a nice staff. Like, I think if you're Auburn and you could get this guy signed up today, like, I would probably just jump out ahead of it because you're not LSU.
No.
You're not Florida or Penn State. Like, it's going to be tough to out-recruit those guys from a coaching search perspective. If you can get Jon Sumrall, I think that would be a home run.
Yeah, I do too. Right now, Jon Sumrall is actually the odds leader to be the next head coach of LSU. Obviously, those are betting odds. Those aren't gospel. But if Auburn is able to lock him down sometime soon, we talked about LSU's coaching search maybe going a little bit longer than they would originally want it to because of some coaches like Lane Kiffin that are going to be in college football playoff contention. That's not the case with Tulane. That could be a hire that could be made right when the season's over, get him on the plains, and see if he can start with this 2026 signing day.
Really, you could have this done by, like, Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Realistically. So it'll be interesting to see who should be the next head coach at Auburn. You guys let us know down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. Plenty more college football, NFL, and NBA coverage to come here on Chat Sports.